What is up, riders? Welcome back to our channel. Yes, today we've got another Yamaha BWS 100 on the channel. This one is clean, got the CRP exhaust. If you guys remember that video that we first did with the red beewizz, you can check that out in the pop-up above. But this one, beautiful blue one, got 17,000 Ks on it, but looking nice and clean. We're going to be putting in a full set of Malossi parts, starting with the drive. We're going to do the top end, the carb, the reed block. Everything is going into this BWS. Gosh, this thing really does start up quite quickly and easily. It's a really solid feeling BWS. Bit cold still. Better warm up. Completely stock. The only thing that it has is an exhaust pipe, but everything else is completely stock. Nah, feels good, feels solid. We're gonna have to do the mandatory 0 to 60. These are a bit slower, so let's do our little 0 to 60. All right, let's go. Not too bad. You definitely feel the drive has a bit of a dip there. Power bag kicked in and then it just like dropped a gear. No, went up a gear. Yeah, it feels a bit sluggish now. Around 40. Could be the rollers, could be the torque driver, but not too bad. Well, I'm not going to do too many runs. We know what a beewizz is like. We're going to head back to the workshop and install some awesome parts, so meet you there. Alright, back at the workshop, I want to show you guys what we're going to be installing. It's going to be a multiple part video. So, big Malossi bag here. So, firstly, we've got the 22mm Delorta carb. So we'll most likely do this near the end. For your drive, you've got obviously the front pulley, you've got the secondary sliding sheave or the torque driver, obviously a multivar. Let's see what else is in here. We've got a clutch, delta clutch. For the rollers, we've got the stage 6 tuning kit, so we've got all the different weights so we can play around. This is 6.5 gram to 9.5 grams, so we're going to probably be between 6.5 and 7.5 with this whole setup and the exhaust. I think that's also why it's bogging down right now. And then also in the drive, we've got the secondary roller gears. So this is your shaft and that big gear over there to give it more top end with the straight cut gears. It's going to be quite cool. We've also got the VL14 reed block. Just going to have a check over there. It's going to be quite cool. Some OEM gaskets. Original gaskets, some fork seals, just mandatory to have. Some bearings. We've got some bearings for the back end. Malossi gear oil. Obviously we need to be draining the oil, putting new one in, so Malossi gear oil is the way to go. And then this big mama over here, trying to get out, is the big bore kits. So we are going to be installing the 125 or 124 cc Malossi barrel as well. So this thing is getting a full makeover, well, engine wise at least. Oh, we've also got some delta clutch springs and weights for the Delta clutch. So yeah, quite a big build. We're going to be starting with the drive first and the primary gears. So yeah, let's get stripping. Okay, I don't think we've ever filmed this, but we're going to be doing the gearbox, obviously the final drive. So we're going to take off this cover, swap out the shaft and the big gears. We're ready to drain the oil. So yeah, and we've got new gaskets, paper gaskets for this.
Got all new gasket seal bearings.
Yeah. Oh, it's dripping. Okay. Pulling this out, a little messy. There we go. Check that out. This is your input shaft, and it's got conical gears to make it quieter. The Malossi one is going to have straight cut gears, which is obviously going to give it a whine, but a better power delivery, so less power loss. But this is the standard one. See these bearings? We're also going to be swapping out these bearings and this big gear, this one over here.
It's a spacer. There should be a spring washer behind that.
And the spring washer.
It's like it puts tension on the gear so it doesn't rattle.
Oh yeah. There we go.
There's
Nice bearings.
A real wheel bearing though. That one stays.
Yeah.
Cool, so here's all the parts. We've got a genuine seal, which is this input shaft seal over here. This is the bearing that normally, after any BWS from about 20,000 kilometers onwards, this bearing is going to need replacing. And then of course you do all of them. There's the part number. This one fits over there, which is this shaft over here, so that this piece fits in like that. And then these are the two that we're going to be changing, so this will get pressed off. The good idea is to change this bearing before this wears. If this thing wears, then it's quite a bit of money. And then of course we've got the two inner bearings over there, which we obviously remove the seals. And then we've got these two bearings, which is that input, these two over here. And then a new gasket, Gearbox Oil gasket part number. Sweet, let's do it. Guys, so here we've got the Malossi section here, and here's the standard. You can see where the gear runs on there, where the helical gears. So this is 15 tooth 42. You can see a slight difference there in diameters. So that's what's going to give us the extra legs on the back. Cool, so we've pressed all the bearings on. This is the Malossi shaft. We're just going to pop the seal on this side, and then as you can see here, we've also fitted that, pressed that on, and now we're going to assemble. Okay, so we're going to go, this gear is going to go on here like that. This one and the conical washer, This puts tension on the gears to stop it from rattling around. So that's going to go on there. It's going to go on there like that. And then we've got this shimmed washer. And we're going to go gasket and cover.
Okay, gearbox is all in now. I'm just gonna fill it up with some Malossi oil, the gear oil. If you do want to get this is on our website, so I'll put a link down below. But this says here we need 110 mils, so we're gonna put in to here. We've obviously closed everything up already. We're gonna take off the oil filler screw. Just be careful, there is a rubber o-ring here. Sometimes that pulls out. Put our funnel, open up oil, and we're going to dump in about 110, so that's about half a bottle. This is 250 ml, so about 125 is close. So we're going to put in about half a bottle. Okay, there we go.
That's the difference between a straight cut and a helical.
Okay, we've just given the scooter a wash, gotten all the oil out, the crud. We are going to start assembling the drive now. So let's go and unpack everything and start with the torque drive. Okay guys, now for the drive. It's the old clutch, we're going to be replacing that. Take out the spring. This is the new torque driver or secondary sliding sheave. So we're going to open that up. Comes with some awesome MHR grease. We're going to be using that in the torque driver. Take off some of these O-rings. We've got to separate this. So what you first do is you got to pull off this outside collar. Be careful when you take it off. You got to twist it off. It's quite hard, and that exposes the pins. We always have a look and see if that has worn. That's why we normally change them, and this one looks pretty good still. We're going to take out the pins, make sure we keep them safe because we're going to reuse them, and then we can slot off this secondary sliding sheave. This is the new Malossi torque driver. Try to clean it there, that didn't work. Trying to make it better, and I just made it worse. Make sure you put on these O-rings and they slot into the grooves. These can sometimes break when you're slipping on the collar again, so make sure they're seated nicely. Got to take our MHR grease and we're going to just grease up the inside so that when the shaft slides in there, it's got some lubrication. Got to press in these collars, make sure everything's seated nicely, and then we're going to get to putting on the secondary sliding sheave. As we're going, we are constantly cleaning. This has got a protective film over it from Malossi, so you got to get that off. You're not going to get to it easily once you put it all together. Line up the holes, put in the old pins. We're reusing the old pins. You don't need new pins, they barely wear. Grease up every single groove, including the ones without the pins in it, and wipe it clean. We don't want excess grease seeping out into the drive. This is quite a hard one to put on, so just be careful you don't break those O-rings, but just twist it on best you can. Give everything a clean, and we're all set. Next up, the Delta clutch, fully adjustable from Malossi. We're doing a stock setup here. We're not even going to adjust it at all. Torsion spring from the Multivar. Obviously, this is in the Multivar kit, so we're going to put that in. And of course, the torsion controller. You don't ever want to forget that. We're going to put it in the clutch side and slot that on. That stops any slippage. One of your best bangs for your buck to add into your order. This is easy to do by hand. Luckily, if you've got two people, just push it down. These take normally forever. Go normally backwards and then forwards, but this one went on super easy. We were super surprised. Next up, the Multivar. This is the Multivar 2000. We obviously already installed the springs. Got the front half pulley. This is also known as the Ventilvar from Malossi. You can check them out side by side. They match better profiles together than the stock one and it just runs better on the belt. Malossi rollers, these come with 11 grams, and we're going to be putting in the stage 6 roller kit. I think we went with a 7.5 gram. I think that's just going to drop it perfectly for the exhaust pipe. If you're running a stock pipe, 11 grams is perfect. This roller kit is quite awesome. It ranges from 6.5 all the way to 9.5 grams. You just swap the outers and you got a whole bunch of weights. This is awesome for racing, and also if you're just tuning and you're not too sure what you want. Lastly, on the drive, you got to slot in these sliders onto your cam. Make sure everything runs smoothly. Give everything a clean. Make sure you get all the grease off. The drive cannot have any grease. The bolt will slip. So you clean it even though it looks clean. Just wipe off everything. The bushing also in the variator is a dry bushing, so make sure you clean that too. First up, you put in on the variator in the front. Then I like to always take the bolt and slot it into your torque driver. Just wedge it in there so you can take off some of the slack. You don't want this thing to get tightened by the nut. You want to have slack on the bolt. Make sure your writing is always facing you on a bolt. That's just a good practice to keep. This washer is very important. Don't forget that washer. You can use the stock one that spaces out the drive perfectly, and without it, your gearing is a little bit messed up. As you can see on this half pulley, you don't actually use the star washer. There's no slot for it. You don't need to. It does come with a washer, but that's for a different model. So just use the starter clutch washer and you should be good. Clutch bowl. This is a stock clutch bowl. We do sell the 107 clutch and bowl for the 50cc that fits on the 100. Those work quite nicely, but the stock one works also perfectly fine.
Alright, well, there you have it, guys. That is the full drive and the gearbox. Obviously the scooter is not complete. We're still going to do the top end, so that's the cylinder kit, the carb, and the reed block. So we're definitely going to get to that in the next video. So if you guys are wanting to check that out, it'll be out next week. So make sure you subscribe and like our content so that you'll be notified when we post that. If you do want to support us, we do have a Patreon, so links down below if you want to support us there so we can do our own scooter builds just like this. I want to do something crazier, something more extravagant than these, so stay tuned for that. We're also going to do some test rides in the next video, so stay tuned and we'll check you then. Peace.